Hey y'all, I'm Miss Katie with heritageways.com and I'm glad you're here today. You're here in my home in Middle Tennessee, in the Upper Cumberland of Tennessee, and I'm so glad you've joined us. Welcome home. So today I want to talk to you about 6 reasons why I shop local, and some things you might want to consider as well when you're buying your produce. I also want to talk to you about 2 times when I do not buy locally grown produce, and I'll tell you why. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you how to bake just a simple, delicious yellow squash, and it doesn't have to be fancy to enjoy fresh, local food. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel, Heritage Ways YouTube, where I share homemaking skills with diligent homemakers. And also in this video, we're going to talk about what is a diligent homemaker, because I suspect you are one like I am. Thanks for being here. All right, yesterday I went to a local market. I try to do that. I try to support small, support local. I want to talk to you about 6 reasons why I do that. When we lived in Ohio, one of my great passions was to be able to, and the privilege, to do cooking demos at the Tuscarawas Valley Farmers Market there in Dover, Ohio. So if any of my Tusk friends and family are watching, hello to y'all. I miss y'all so much. It's such a joy just to be with like-minded people and share recipes and food ideas. So today I have in front of us sweet corn, all grown here, actually by the Amish farmers in my community. So that is nice to have those folks here, those resources. So I have sweet corn, and let's see, oh, look at that, y'all. Sweet corn. Not nary a worm. Sweet corn. Grew up shucking corn on the front porch of our 1830s home here in Tennessee. It just smells so good. Okay, then I have yellow squash. This is not necessarily crookneck. That is, maybe that hasn't crooked yet. But this is kind of what we would call baby squash back when I was growing up, just because it is young. So it's young, tender squash, and we're going to talk about how to bake that up. I'm actually going to do that for some company tonight that we're having. And then of course we have okra. If you're not familiar with okra, I have you can check my blog, my website, for lots of information about okra. What is it? How do you use it? So many ways to use okra. So I do have a blog, and I will link that down in the description box of this video. And then I have some tomatoes. Now my very favorite is Cherokee Purple, or Purple Cherokee. I never can remember which direction. Anyway, Purple Cherokee, Cherokee Purple, that's my favorite. That's not what this is, but these are locally grown as well. And then we have a couple of Romas. I almost said Amish paste tomato. Amish paste is a little bit bigger. So the first reason I want to encourage you, I want to tell you 6 reasons why I shop local. And first of all, it's just to have the fresh produce. This did not have to travel. It literally traveled around the corner from the Amish farm to the stand where I bought it. And I drove 20 minutes to get it. So it's local, it's fresh. A lot of it was picked yesterday or the day before. And I know what I'm getting. I know where it was grown, the soil it was grown in, or the area, the region rather. I can know if pesticides were used, if I choose to ask the farmer, if I can ask him how he grows his produce. So number 1 is having fresh local produce that did not have to travel clear across the country or from another country. Number 2 is building a community. Mr. Patient and I are very passionate about building community wherever we are, and we hope we've tried to do that to the best of our ability. We're thankful to the Lord that He has allowed us to build a community personally and through Heritage Ways. And so just building a rapport with the farmers. When I lived here before we moved to Ohio, I had a rapport with the folks at the farmer's market in Rutherford County, especially the meat guy. Moving to Ohio, I had a relationship, a rapport with the farmers that I would buy from. And, you know, I even knew about their families, and we just had a relationship, built community. So that's number 2 for me, because that's very important to me. Not only community, but number 3 reason is I'm contributing to the local economy. I'm contributing to my small town, my region, my area. So when I encourage y'all to shop small, shop local, I mean to start where you are in your little bitty community, if you live in a little community, or if you live in if you live in New York City, you know, starting on your street or in your apartment building or wherever, but building community and then going out from there. And then I envision, you know, of course, your state, your region, your country. So shopping local, or keeping your dollars, your money in your local community, if you care about your local community, that is, and if you want to see it thrive and grow, or at least to not die, then that is so very important, keeping that money and those dollars, or bartering, even bartering. I love to barter. I love to barter. So back in the 70s, when I got a, you know, wild hair that I wanted to have tennis lessons, Mama bartered a whole feed bag full of fresh cut corn, fresh picked corn, to one of our actually friends, but she was a deacon's wife at our church. She's also the PE teacher at our local school, for her to teach me tennis lessons. So bartering is awesome. I very much encourage that as well. Okay, now numbers 4, 5, and 6 are very concerning to me. I want to believe that they probably are to you too. But number 4 is all the recalls bother me on food. Now, I typically have not been in the space where I notice or have to worry about recalls, because I typically, whether I lived in Tennessee before and then Ohio and now Tennessee again, I do buy local produce, or grow it. I mean, we grow these things, not this year because we've moved, but we grow all these things that you see on the table and more, typically, especially when we lived in Tennessee before we moved to Ohio. And so I didn't have to worry about recalls or concern myself or be all upset about those as much as I am aware now, because now I'm having to you know, go to the grocery store and purchase things if I can't find them at farmer's market, or just, you know, when you move, it's just kind of crazy. I don't know if you've moved lately, but it's just, you're just in survival mode, and you're going to the Kroger or the Aldi or whatever and getting whatever you need to get. But I've been made aware recently of the many recalls that are out there all the time. You know, usually, unfortunately, you don't even hear about a recall until it's made somebody sick or they've passed away, unfortunately. And none of us want that in our lives and in our families and our loved ones. Do you ever hear of a recall? This might be a silly thing to say, but do you hear of a, you know, Farmer Jones, he's recalling his okra? I mean, recalls usually are happening in these big facilities where everything's supposed to be clean and wonderful, and something got contaminated or what have you. Number 5 is the approval of certain products being allowed to be in or on our food. I'll show you right here. There's this one product that I'm not going to say out loud on the video, because you know why. They like to decide what we can say and not say. But I don't want certain things on my food. I want to know what's on my food. I want to know what I'm eating. I want to know what I'm serving my friends and my family. And I don't want anything that I don't want on my food. And this product has been approved to be on your organic produce. So, and sometimes, as a side note, organic's not all it's cracked up to be necessarily. So that's a side note. But again, I'll have a blog, and all this will be in my description box. So if you're on a tablet or an iPhone or something, you can go to the description box and see all the links that I have down there for you to link over to my blog for further evidence or sources, rather. And then I've been seeing something disturbing lately. Foods that are served in restaurants now and even some grocery stores are questionable, or they've mixed the words up to where we're confused of what we're buying and eating. And I don't want to eat things that I don't want to eat, whether it's insects or glue or what have you. So when you're buying local, and this includes local meat, I mean, Mr. Patient and I loved the meat that we bought from our friends. So William and Stacy, you know who you are in Ohio. We love y'all and we miss you. And hey to your beautiful daughter, and your meat was the best we'd ever put in our mouths. And you know, I'd set a roast down on the table and Mr. Patient would ask if it was their meat, and he said, well, then I know it's going to be good. So we knew our friends, we knew how they raised their beef, and you know, that we picked it up at the processors. I was able to tell the processor how I wanted it cut, and it was delicious. So this shop local includes your meat, your chicken, or whatever kind of protein you're eating as well, your eggs. Those are 6 reasons why I shop local, eat local, but there are 2 times that I can think of, and probably more, that I don't, because I'm a diligent homemaker. Diligent homemakers are doing the best they can, the best we can with what we have. So our resources are our time, our money, our physical things like our homes, our gardens, our energy, our bodies, our energy. So those are just a few, the major resources that we have. And y'all, sometimes, like right now, I don't have a garden, so I don't have that resource that I can grow things, but I do have farmer's market. Sometimes my body won't let me go out and pick things in past years, you know, whether it's arthritis or whatever reason, you know, that's a resource that we have to consider when we're planning things. Energy, I talk to y'all about this a lot, but energy is a resource that sometimes I'm depleted of. And sometimes we might have to resort to a convenience food when we don't want to, but it's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay. It's a balance. I would rather eat a can of mushroom soup in a casserole than be highly stressed and have this very healthy meal, because stress, believe me when I tell you, stress can really wreak havoc on your body. So that is so very important to consider the stress level when you're doing all the things and all the gardening and the organic and the canning and the stuff, but you're highly stressed. That's really, you're really canceling each other out almost. So one thing I have learned, and I made a little short about this on YouTube, but I've learned, and my dear friend Amanda has done this many times, many of y'all have. I'm just now catching on, but I've taken advantage of this 3 times now, and that is grocery store pickup. I wish that I had a garden or greenhouse that had lettuce, but I don't, and it's the middle of summer and it's hot in Tennessee, and this is not lettuce season or greens. So that means I couldn't grow it if I wanted to, because I don't have a greenhouse, and I'm not finding it in my farmer's market. So I picked these up last night at Kroger. And not only am I buying lettuce at Kroger, I used the pickup. It was free. They didn't charge me to drive up and pick it up, and I was in town anyway. So I saved some energy because I didn't have any to give anyway, shopping, and I was able to get what I needed for no-toss salad or layered salad. It's one of our family's favorite salads. So I'm going to have that for company tonight too. But I'm just pointing out that a diligent homemaker does the best she can. For me, that is shopping small, shopping local, getting what I can locally. But I'm also not driving myself crazy, and I'm not stressing. And, you know, interestingly enough, I did check to make sure nothing here had been recalled lately, because that's just really in the forefront of my mind for some reason. I've been seeing a lot about that, so maybe the Lord's making me aware of that lately. So now I'd like to show you, bring you along as I'm just baking simple yellow squash tonight. I'm going to wash the squash, just rinse it off. And it is young squash, so that's very good. I'm not concerned that it's gonna be tough or anything like that. I do not remove the seeds. You might do that if you had big squash. If I had larger squash, I wouldn't do this baked squash method. I would do something else like a squash casserole or just boiled squash, steamed, stir-fried, something like that. Squash fritters, fried squash. There are all kinds of ways to use squash. We're just washing this up and we're going to slice it. I'm actually going to cut off the blossom end. This is where the blossom was when it was growing. But I'm actually going to leave the stem end. I don't know why. I just think that might be decorative, maybe. It's not too tough. I wouldn't recommend anybody eating it, but I think they'll figure that out when they get it on their plate. But it's not tough at all yet because this is a young squash, so I'm just going to leave that stem end on. And then I've got a baking sheet, and I'm going to put some parchment paper down. I'm also making sure I'm blotting my squash. I don't want it to be wet or damp from washing. And so I'm just going to put some parchment paper down. I love using parchment. Put that down on my baking sheet. And I'm probably, right here, I'm going to just brush this baking sheet with some oil or butter, either one. And then I'm going to put the cut side down of the squash. And then I'm going to kind of brush oil or butter over the top, just lightly, not a lot at all. You don't even have to do that if you don't want, but it's going to add some flavor. And then I'm going to sprinkle my Italian seasoning blend. I actually sell this on the website and at local events. And so I'm going to sprinkle that and salt and pepper on top. Now, you could use different seasonings. You could use a taco seasoning. You could use, I mean, really, it's your imagination. You could use cumin. You could use any kind of like a seasoning blend or steak seasoning, anything like that you wanted to sprinkle on. And then you're just going to pop it in the oven. It's probably going to be, you can do anywhere from like 350 to 425. And you're going to bake it until it's fork tender, not necessarily falling apart though. You want to be able to pick it up with a spatula and put it on the plate, and you don't want it mush. But just if you can insert a fork or even a knife into it when you're testing it, then you'll know it is ready. So you want it really kind of al dente, if you will. You want it to have somewhat of a bite and not be mushy. So that is just a simple baked squash. When you serve it, if you wanted to serve it with a compound butter or any kind of a flavored oil or anything like that, you could. But it's just a very good and healthy way to enjoy young baked squash or young squash baked in the oven. Well, I certainly am very glad that you've been here with me today. I hope you're counting your blessings and know that you are loved. If you're interested in more videos, specifically recipes, I hope you'll check out these videos. Be encouraged in your homemaking. I'll see you next time. Count your blessings, y'all.